Greetings. Rise and shine, brethren. We are the World Global Reset Restoration Network family, comprised of 198 sovereign nations with over 7 billion sovereign principles, being of one mind, one heart, and one spirit, walking together under the divine principles of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. I come to you as a voice in the wilderness to introduce to you a man. No, not just any man, but a man sent by Yah Allah to redeem mankind. Dr. Hindu I.L. Henderson, the Adak Chief Justice of the Universal World Court, and who's also known as Yehoshua Mashiach, the Son of Man. The information that you will be receiving in this and other videos you won't get from anywhere else on the planet. Hear the many truths and fulfillment of the laws, judgments, and sentencings from our Creator, Father Yah, as well as the fulfillment of the true interpretation of the Holy Scriptures and books. Now, without further ado, Dr. Hindu I.L. Henderson with his beloved host, Shelley Bowling.
So meantime, while you are so caught up in thinking that you've already figured it all out, let me help you out. Right now, you are in the process of talking just like everybody else on the planet. Being you believe that you come from some poor party of people who have been suffering over a course of period now of some 400 to 500 years, that you believe that you got to get with these Democrats, the people that you believe are saving the black folk finally from their would-be world of nothing more than poverty. And you believe that you're going to go out and vote for some for some white boy, let me fix it for you so you don't get offended, by the name of Joe Biden, who has been around since the Ku Klux Klan had their first party on the planet. And you're going to vote for him now, all because they believe that he's going to get a black running mate. Not just any black running mate, because you have to remember, he's already had his first black running mate, if they might say so. So this can't be his first black running mate. So what he's got to do is he's got to get him a black female running mate. As if though he hasn't slept with enough of them already, that one of them should have already been classified as mate. Stay with me. Don't get offended with me. I'm just giving you the truth. And they believe that he is going to get some superwoman. That's what they call her. Superwoman. Babysitter. House wrecking. Oh, excuse me. That's a song. I apologize. But they truly believe that they're going to get some superwoman. Some black super running mate that's going to go with Joe Biden, as if though he and her is going to be able to save the world from the coronavirus. Do y'all believe that? Do you believe that the melanated people in their communities of poverty is so gullible that they believe that they're going to be able to take Joe Biden and some black female, place them in the White House, and everything that's going on with the coronavirus right now is just going to go away because old Joe is going to come out wearing some black dark shades with a black face mask on, and he is supposed to ride them into the next would-be so-called Lone Ranger has saved the day with a black female known as Pocahontas. Stay with me, God Almighty. You got to get it in a minute and stop getting offended with me. I'm just giving you the truth. You can drop off at any time you want to, or you can follow me to victory. This is the public opinion poll for America. They just believe that Joe Biden's victory in November is going to really set off a great process of bringing back the black neighborhood. They believe that what they were supposed to do during Obama period, they were me, I recall that. Some black female during the Obama night of would have been the final would-be count. When everyone said, he won, she was out there and she was crying, she was clutched, holding her child, screaming and hollering, saying, we have finally got a black president and we will never ever have to work again. Oh God, like, we're going to finally be free. No more work. No more hard work. 8 years later, she's still working, still clutching her child, still waiting to be free. Stay with me, United States of America. Right now, once again, they're playing the flute. You are that in which they're blowing the wind through. They want you to believe that some frail white boy with his hair all slicked back is going to be able to grab him a black female once again and place her up under his arm and go walking into the White House as some so-called would-be master with nothing more than another black slave in whom he can deem her to be his mistress whenever he wants it. As long as he got her close to what he would deem to be his own personal quarters, he'll be able to do with her at will. And again, he will rule the world. But you go ahead, vote for him, put him in the White House. You have to remember he has got a half black, half white companion that will help him ride into the White House. Barack Obama, stop it. You already know who I'm talking about. Yes, I'll call his name. I'm not in fear to do that. He's heard me speak before. He heard me in 1994. He still rejects the fact that he knows me. He heard me in 2004. And he still rejects the fact that he knows me. And now, after 2008, I don't think he remembers any of you that was in his neighborhood back then, unless now you can tell him that you're getting ready to move to Martha's Vineyard and that you have at least $2 to $3 billion. He is not trying to even remember you, so stay with me for a moment and stop it. United States, if I might still address you with this particular title, I want to say to you tonight that many of you now have found yourself preparing to go out and do something you call VOTE, vote. And I know you have a lot of people coming to you now with a request for you to join some would-be party or another to vote. I know that you got all types of people coming to you. You even got what would be considered your past presidents. They will be out and they will also be doing nothing more than looking for you. Yes. They're going to be out. They're going to be trying to get you to vote. Let's just say they're recruiting you to vote. Knowing all the time that your vote doesn't really count for you. It's not going to do anything to benefit you. But they're friends. Their so-called blood family, their so-called secret society, their so-called Illuminati, those in whom they deem to be in some secret society of a membership where they will all still benefit, and you will suffer the consequences of whomever they place in what they deem to be the power seat of some so-called White House. Listen to me. As the so-called Poor People's Party began to switch their agenda now from one belief to another, they're doing it just to win the people over. And when I say the Poor People's Party, I'm talking about a party that has been classified to be the Poor People's Party, known as the Democratic Party. This party was founded by one known as Andrew Jackson, which now it seems that the President of the United States of America, being of the Republican Party, is very much concerned about Andrew Jackson's would-be monument being removed from in front of the White House, or being even removed from some would-be building of interest, whereby America would have its total interest to believe that he was one of the heroes of the world. But Andrew Jackson, everyone knows that he was nothing more than a slave owner. Even though it came about to say he opposed banks and he defended slavery, we all know this to be a lie. Everyone knows that to be a lie. But he was part of the secret society. And in 1820, he himself founded some so-called Democratic Party. But you must realize that at that moment in time, it was not classified the Poor People's Party. From 1860 to 1932, in the era of what was known as the American Civil War, to all the way to the year of Depression, which were 1932, 1860, Civil War for America, 1932, Great Depression for America. The opposing Republican Party, organized in the 1850s from the ruins of the Whig Party and some other smaller sprinting group, was dominating everything in the presidential politics. The Democrats elected only 2 presidents during this period: Grover Cleveland, a past relative of one known as Barbara Bush. In 1884 to 1892, it was Woodrow Wilson. And Woodrow Wilson himself would have been the first to tell you that he had no black people in mind when he was doing what he was doing. Even though, yes, he came to a point where he began to believe that the nation had to deal with the black community, even based upon the fact that he would say that soldiers should not be separated when going into combat. They should all be of any color, many colors. But that was only for the protection of his own belief, to believe that he had conquered a nation, and whereby this nation was stolen off the backs of the real would-be poor people, in whom they would have at least given them the title of being poor. But poor was not a way of life. Poor was not a system that was set up to make the people look as if though they had nothing. Poor was really a way of being treated by the other parties, by the other people that were classified to be Caucasian, Caucasian, white, the privileged. So this word poor would have been about those people that they had stolen the land from and destroyed them, to the point of even beating some of them into the recognition of having them recognize the fact that they had lost control over all 5 of their nations, and now they were going to be placed in a position of such where they would be poor people. And they would at least have to find themselves being forced, and at the same time commanded by their masters to vote and to deal with the situation, whereby they would have still been consumed by their masters to do such. United States, for you now to talk about a state sovereignty, knowing that the Democratic Party stood for individual rights, they would say, and state sovereignty, saying that they opposed banks and defended slavery. During the second party system, from 1832 to the mid-1850s, under the president they deemed to be Andrew Jackson, who along with him and Martin Van Buren, James K. Polk, these Democrats usually best at one time, they were the oppositioners to the Whig Party. But they often lost by a narrow margin. And this narrow margin was always something that they lost by. I can assure you it wasn't because they didn't try hard. For they too were nothing more than manipulators, liars, slave owners. And even though Martin Van Buren himself has many letters out where he would have signed his name to, just to make sure that he would have been giving back the land to the melanated people in whom he knew it was initially theirs to begin with. By the late 1800s, around 1897, when one William McKinley would have been classified as the 25th president by then, began to also place his signature on documents, making sure that at least these documents was classified to be patents, whereby he would be acknowledging the fact that those that were classified to be the melanated people or the black folks in America already owned the land, and that all he was doing was to make sure that it was still secure in their hands, for it would not be allowed to be by the caucasoids, in which he himself knew was nothing more than murderers, thieves, rapists, child molesters, and at best, woman abusers. Our friend will be out campaigning with his white friend, Barack Obama, and Uncle Joe Biden. They will be out. Notice I didn't say Uncle Sam, I said Uncle Joe Biden. And Barack Obama will be out campaigning. They will be going to all of the black neighborhoods. Same thing. I'm just telling you what's written on their papers. See, they have code words and keywords that you don't even hear, neither can you figure out when they keep saying those of us. They're not talking about themselves. When they say those of us, they're talking about you niggas, black folks in the ghetto. Those of us that are stuck here. Those of us that are in the confessed world of poverty. Those of us who do not have the right to go down and be able to walk into a court of law and tell the judge that that's my child and I do as I please. Those of us who can't be able to get pulled over on the freeway where we are every much in our own would-be right. But at the same time, you're going to be accused falsely. Those of us who will be the only ones that will take the ticket and find time to even read the ticket to see that they have summoned you to a courtroom that don't truly exist. Because those of us who will find ourselves going down to pay a fine to a clerk which we've never seen before, neither was that clerk area ever set up before for any type of bills to be paid, whether it was gas, water, or lights. That area never existed until they decided to set it up in regards to receiving your hard-earned money on something they classified to be a violation when you were very much within your right. Those of us. I'm just telling you, you have to listen to their code words. They give them to you all the time. They keep using words like the less fortunate. They're not the less fortunate. You are. They use those words like the less fortunate. They cannot be able to go and afford milk for their children. They're talking about you. They only put themselves in the category when they want to buy your would-be acceptance, in which you call vote. What is a vote? Account? Account for what? What are you accounting for? What's your vote for? What does a vote really represent? I didn't think so. None of you can tell me. Let's just try starts with the same letter, or it is the same letter in which they classify to be nigger. Stay with me. I'm talking about the vote versus the note. Now, I'm not talking about the N-word, okay? It's still an N-word. It's just not one that you recognize so quickly during these times. It's getting close to November, the 4th year. And thereby you see that same N, but it kind of finds its way away from the area of being a nigger to being nothing more than one who will find himself being part of the note to vote. You become a number based upon the fact that you are promising the world that you're going to pay off a debt in which your vote for the note is going to put them back in the driver's seat for at least 4 more years of your misery, while the 4 years you will still be getting stopped on the freeway. You will still be the one that will be drugged from your car and brutally destroyed and beaten by those in whom they deem to be your authority that they placed over you to protect you. Stay with me. I'm only getting you to wake up. No, this is not a time for a revolution. You've already been through a revolution and it was bloodless and you missed it. As my brother would say, I understand, for it was not televised. The revolution will not be televised. It was not televised. Don't think that you've seen on TV, those were protesters. That wasn't a revolution. The revolution will not be televised, neither has it been televised. It's been happening all the time. You just haven't woken up to this point to be able to see it. You've been still marching off into your protest, marching off to be classified as an unrest person. Angry because you're asking them to do something for you that they say you can't do for yourself. But however, they have all the means in which you have created to do it for yourself, and they have it all locked away in some secure area in which you yourself are not even entitled to know where it's at. They call it a secret in which they're keeping just for the day in which they will bring it out, that everyone is going to be proud that the secret is going to benefit everybody. Right. I didn't think you even believed that. It sounded good, though, didn't it? No. I'm not trying to spark you to anger. No, I'm not trying to make you become one who will protest. I'm not trying to get you to be one who will be in opposition to anything that they're doing or saying. I'm one who just wants you to wake up to reality of the truth that whatever they're doing and saying it is not for your benefit. Great pleasure to be able to introduce who we are. Once again, as that introduction comes to you, I'm asking many of you now to come out of your world of denial. You have not yet been defeated. And the only thing that can truly defeat you is that you reject the truth. Remember, as I have given you the instructions coming from the only God of the universe, Yah Allah, you will either accept or you will reject. There will be no in between. You won't be able to stand on the fence. You will not be able to stand on the line. You will not be able to claim yes one day and nay the next day. You are either going to be all the way or no way at all. So as I come introducing that family to you once again, I'm saying to you at some point in time, and your time is truly out. You've been given grace. You're being given mercy, that you now find that time in which that mercy and grace is given you to identify yourself, to ID yourself, to index yourself, to whatever side you're going to be on. If you do not index yourself, you will be automatically assumed by God of the universe, which that assumption becomes to be nothing more than the reality of truth. And he does not have to assume anything because he already knows. And if you are one of those that do not index yourself, you just think you're going to be able to wait until the last second and run in, let me help you out. Not going to happen. You're going to be destroyed. So as I introduce the family to you at this particular moment, listen, we We are the World Global Network Reset Restoration Network family. We are of 198 sovereign nations. These sovereign nations have a majority of the people of the planet known to be the 7 billion sovereign principles. 7 billion sovereign individuals, whereby they have come together to be a 7 billion strong family that has took their individuality and made it to be one mind, one heart, and one spirit, and conducting the business in which they must conduct on the planet to lift up all humanity, to save those who we know for a fact are incapable of saving themselves. We must realize that these 5 divine principles are those things in which is very much needed. Love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Meantime, remember that those of you that have already become indexed, you have already became those who have identified yourself, you are to stay out of the way. You cannot be a part of any unrest. You cannot be any part of a protest. You cannot be a part of any of those things because you have already identified yourself to be those in whom are truly of the land, and you must be part of the universal court. You have to be part of the universal world, whereby the 198 nations of sovereignty has given you your sovereignty, in which you have always possessed from the only God of the universe. And all you have to do is stay out of the way and allow the things in which will occur upon the land to destroy the wicked off, and then you will be the one that will inherit the greatest of ease based upon peace. Based upon the 5 divine principles of the universe, you have already become victorious. Love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice being part of your world of being a one mind, one heart, and one spirit. And even though we have those melanated individuals now who deem some would-be prophet in what they believe they have created in their own mind, gave them the right to be able to possess these 5 divine principles and be able to think that they somehow has harnessed them to a point where they have become kings and queens of it. I need them to tell themselves the truth and understand that these words didn't come by way of a prophet, but they came by way of the only God of the universe, Yah Allah. And he has sent his only begotten Son in the final days to make sure that everyone realize that these words cannot be owned by any would-be group of people, but it is for the land, it is for the world, it is for the universe. And thereby, only if you are a true believer of actions to carry out these words will you find yourself being redeemed.